Hey, what's up, beautiful people? And today, before we even actually get into any part of the video, what's the best start of any video is a shout out. So in today's shout out is gonna be Arias Latte or Late, however you're supposed to pronounce that. But as you can see, she makes funny moments of various stuff like hi boy and more hi boy. So far as I can tell, it's only hi boy, but as you can see, hundreds of thousands of views, but only 663 subs. Now, with someone who creates content, I watched about the first minute of this and I said, oh my lord, this is 10 times better than anything I could have come up with. So, you people, whoever ends up watching this, needs to go check her out, at least give her a view, and then subscribe to her YouTube channel. I can guarantee that we can at least get her to 700. If we can get her to 700, I will do a challenge that is suggested from the comments section. Yes, and I just made that up. But let's get into today's video. So, as you may have guessed, we're reacting to Hi Boy. Chapter 2, explained by the idiot to explain to another idiot. So, hopefully you pressed that like button already, subscribe, remember it's free and all that good stuff, and let's get into it.
This movie is nearly 3 hours long, so it's gonna make keeping this long ass video short incredibly hard. Especially because I have this thing in the top left corner, because I predicted a lot of things in this movie too. Alright, let's go baby. It's chapter 2, and the events of this movie take place 20...
Who else doesn't mind that he will make an hour-long video if he could? I don't think I would
7
mind.
years after the first one, and all them little kids are grown up now. Billy is a famous writer that's married to this actor bitch who sometimes doesn't believe in his writing. Germboy or Eddie is now a risk analysis dude, and he's married to this fat, overprotective naggy bitch. Glasses aka Richie is now a big shot comedian. Fat Kid or Ben is now no longer a fat kid. He instead is hot and ripped and apparently very rich. Stanley is...
Very.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just Stanley, but grown up. Still a pussy, whatever. The homeschool kid Mike still lives in Derry in its library, and he's possibly slightly a bit local or paranoid. And Beverly, I got no clue what's going on in her life except for that she's married to this asshole who's very similar to her father. And apparently anybody who got married in this movie got married to a person that's very similar to their parents.
Okay, I love you, Mommy.
What?
I don't know why the movie does this. Maybe it's to point out that nothing had to change because they never really killed it properly, or...
You know the old saying, you always get married to your parent. Oh.
That they never really grew up. Or maybe they're just saying in general that you always marry your parents and nothing ever changes in life.
Hey!
I don't know why I'm reading into this so much. It's not a fucking Shakespearean novel. Who cares? No time. Moving on. The movie starts out with this shot, and I can already tell from this shot alone, and don't ask me how I can do this, that this movie is gonna have some serious homosexual themes / vibes and characters to it. And sure enough, we got two gay dudes being gay in Derry. And Derry keeps up with its theme of having very violent bullies, and some bullies show up and they beat the shit out of the two gay dudes for being gay, but especially this guy, and then they throw him into the fucking river, and then Pennywise shows up and eats him. Then the news breaks out that there's a dismembered body in the river, which confuses the fuck out of me because I thought he could eat them and swallow them whole if he so pleases. Why the fuck is there any trace of this body left? I mean, I know it's...
Don't worry about it. Movie logic. Carry on.
To draw Mike over so he can find out that Pennywise is alive and he can bring all the gang back so he can eat them, but still. Anyway, as I said, Mike went over there and he found out that it was Pennywise, so he proceeds to call all the peeps back because they made a promise that if it ever comes back, they're gonna come back too and they're gonna kill it properly. And upon
hence why they all
freak
just
out in
got
their own little way.
some type of disease from the blood shake that they used.
Scars on his face. Where are the scars from the bite marks from the last movie? They should have scarred, damn it. So this is about the time where we find out that the bully from the last movie is alive. He got washed away in the sewers and flushed out along with a bunch of other half-eaten corpses, and I must say that half-eaten is a very generous thing to say for me because look at this shit. He barely nibbled on them. He sucks at eating. What the hell? Also,
yeah, he really does.
Got thrown down a very fucking narrow well, and it's fairly deep, I suppose, and he didn't hit his head on anything. He didn't drown, and he survived. Doesn't matter. After he got flushed out the fucking sewers, he walked to his home, at which he was promptly arrested for killing his father, and he was thrown in the loony bin for 27 years till now, where Pennywise shows him a red balloon outside his loony bin, signaling that he's once again recruiting him to kill people. Then, after he gets dragged back to his room, he sees the red balloon squished under his bed, and I bet you that balloon's gonna pop, revealing some spooky shit behind it, and it does, and that spooky scary shit is his old pyromaniac friend, and that friend gives him his old knife. Now cut back to the main gang, and they're in the Chinese restaurant and they're bonding and shit, and it's mentioned by Mike that the further away you get from this town, the hazier memories of this place get, and once you come back, everything starts getting clearer and clearer, and you start remembering more and more. My question
that makes sense.
How the fuck does Mike know about this memory loss shit? He barely ever left town, but he does mention that he read a lot of books, so
he read a lot of books, exactly, it's explained. So why?
Bullshit Mike's
don't question.
From now on I'm just gonna attribute to the fact that he read all the books. So after they all realize / remember why they're here, because Pennywise isn't dead, they have to kill him, they'll have a little freak out, and 100% those fortune cookies are gonna have some creepy shit in them. And what do you know, they do, because all their fortune cookies together spell out, guess Stanley couldn't cut it. Then some freaky shit happens with the rest of the fortune cookies.
Whatever you went through before you joined our family, it hurt you.
Who are you talking to? Gabriel?
You created him so that you could survive.
Is he your imaginary friend?
That looks like... Okay, I know I never show ads, but that looks good. Jesus!
What is that, man?
Exactly. What the fuck is that? So they all leave the restaurant and they call Stanley's wife and they find out that he committed Sudoku, and then they all collectively decide to get the fuck out of there, but Mike stops Bill to convince him that he has a way to kill it. And then we cut to it devouring a little girl. And I could have totally left this part out because it's completely unimportant to the story and helps it in no way, shape or form, but I really wanted to comment on this dumbass hoe of a mother that didn't notice her child leaving her side. Fucking bland bitch. Now cut back to Mike.
That is called an 80s to 90s, early 2000s mother right there, the kinda self-absorbed.
Mike and Bill, and Mike is like, yo dude, I did all the drugs, I read all the books, I saw the Native American dudes and they showed me how to kill it, and they showed me how it started, and they showed me everything, just let me show you. Then he drugs Bill with the same drugs that the Native American chakra dudes, that's a name chakra, gave him so he can visualize the shit they explained to him. Now, I'ma try and explain the shit to you, which is a momentous task because I have no idea what the fuck I just saw. So 3 big lights come from sky long time ago, 3 big lights turn into creature eat people, and that's what I got really. But that's not important. What is important is the ritual of Chud, which is the ritual they're going to use to defeat Pennywise. And to perform said ritual of Chud, they must all get their artifacts. What are their artifacts? Their artifacts are the things they were attached to the most the time they first defeated Pennywise. They must go to these 3 dead lights, the 3 big lights that came from the sky, they're called the dead lights. They put the box down, they put the shit in the box, they burn the shit in the box, then they chant some shit, and then the lights go into the box and they close the box, and then supposedly they have defeated Pennywise. At least that's how the chakra people explained it to Mike. So Mike and Bill go back to the gang, and Bill explains to the gang that what he saw was real and it's possible and they can kill it. So they're just like, hey, why don't we wait this cycle out till he goes back to sleep, and then we wait another 27 years and just rinse and repeat. What's the problem? Turns out they can't do that because Beverly dreamt of Stanley dying the way he did, and she also dreamt of them all dying before, and if they do try and keep postponing this, they will not even last another 20 years. And she's the only one dreaming of this stuff because she's the only one that saw the deadlights when they were kids. So they go over to an underground clubhouse that built in the woods when they were kids, and they go get Stanley's artifact, which is a shower cap, because he didn't want them to get shit in their hair when they were sitting down there. Then they all split up to get their own artifacts, and Beverly goes to her old home and takes the poem that Ben wrote for her when they were kids out of a secret hole in the wall, and that is her artifact. And then she gets attacked by Pennywise in the form of this grandma. So she escapes. Then Richie goes to an old abandoned arcade and he gets his artifact, which is an old arcade coin slot machine thing, and then he has flashbacks from when he was a kid and he was playing there. And wait a minute.
You're fucking good.
Hey! How about we go again?
Is the movie hinting that Richie's gay?
You assholes didn't tell me your town is full of little fairies.
Oh my god, it is. I'm gonna give myself another point for that. I was really on the money with that gay prediction. Anyway, Pennywise scares him in the park and he gets away too. Now it's Billy's turn. After buying his old bike from a pawn shop or something at a ridiculous price, he rides over to a store and brings
he paid $300 for that.
Fucking road. Like,
nah,
dude,
that's way too much.
To the curb. Why can't you park it there? What the fuck's wrong with you? This is a road for cars.
It's called movie consistency, sir. As you clearly stated in the last, or technically the first movie, they all did it the first time, now they're doing it again, so movie consistency.
What's wrong with people in these movies dropping their bikes in the middle of fucking road? Whatever. Billy talks to Pennywise through the storm drain. He gets the boat that he made for his brother back after almost getting sucked in by a gajillion arms. Then Ben goes back to their old school and he relives a scary moment that he had as a kid when Pennywise chased him through the halls of the school and he hid in his locker, and that is a fucking scary guy shows up behind you moment if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
How did he get away? You were in a locker with Pennywise. What the fuck is wrong with Pennywise, yo? You had him in a fucking locker, and this is at a time where you had them split up, and the point was to get them individually. What are you doing? So the point of all
He's trying to scare him so much, so he has the most fear to get out of him when he does finally eat them. The more fear that is in him, I guess the more nutritious and delicious it is, I guess.
Supposed to get his artifact, which was
it's like a perfectly ripe apple
for him in his yearbook, which he tore and put in his fucking wallet. It was in his wallet the whole time. This was fucking useless. It's not like he forgot about it either, because he was clearly reminiscent about it in the beginning of the movie. So why the fuck are you here, dude? Why don't you go buy weapons or something to have an easier time defeating Pennywise at the end of the movie? Your job's done, dude. Why are you here? Don't matter. Next up we got Eddie, and he goes to his old pharmacy to pick up an inhaler, and that's his artifact. And then he relives the memory that he had in the basement of that place, where Pennywise in the form of this fucked up dude tried to shove his tongue down his mom's throat. He he succeeded clearly. Then he tries to scare grown-up Eddie. And I'm not going to claim this jump scare as a prediction because it's just too easy. So Eddie tries to choke Pennywise out, and he's having some fucking success in that because he feels like Pennywise is getting smaller and he's killing him, but then Pennywise throws up in his face and doesn't really scare him off, he more like disgusts him off. After that, they all get back to the place that they're staying at, and they're all shook up and shit, and Richie wants to leave again. Then the dickhead bully who has escaped the loony bin shows up behind Eddie and he stabs him in the side of the face in his cheek. So Eddie steps into the bathtub and then closes the curtains, and if I were him, I would use the element of surprise and take the knife out of my cheek and stab him through the curtains.
Now give me back my fucking nuts!
Holy shit, he actually did it. Also, the bully doesn't die from this.
Exactly.
He gets stabbed in the fucking chest and he just jogs away like, I'm fine, my insanity's keeping me alive, yee. Anyway, this was happening up.
Bro, they chose like such perfect people to play off crazy. Now what I mean by that, like, sure, it's easy to be crazy, but to pull off crazy, definitely the right cast.
Downstairs, Billy finds out that Pennywise is planning to kill the kid that now lives in his old house at the carnival. So he rushes over there to save him, and maybe, just maybe, if you used your car instead of your old ass bike, you would have made it in time to save the kid. Yeah, spoiler alert.
You know what, just maybe.
Guys, I know I'm saying spoiler alert. This entire video is a spoiler alert. Now cut to Mike in the library, and he gets attacked by the dickhead bully, but then Richie shows up and he axes him a question. Get it? Because the axe in his head. Then the rest of the gang shows up and they find out that Bill is fed up and he wants to go and kill Pennywise alone. And they're like, nah. So they go and catch up to him at the well house, and they enter the well house, and the usual Pennywise mindfuckery happens where severed heads turn into spiders, and he tries to write what seems like an entire fucking novel on Ben's stomach. But they somehow avert all of that, and they go down to where they previously defeated Pennywise, which is a bit flooded right now, and Beverly hears something in the water, and she's gonna get dragged into the water, right? Yep, there she goes. She gets dragged into the water by the swinging grandma demon. But no worries, they get her out.
He's on a nice 7.
A creepy looking manhole, and then they go down that manhole and they get to where the lights descended or landed, okay? Then they begin the ritual shoot and they throw all their artifacts in there, and they burn the shit, and then they chant some other shit, and then the vagina in the ceiling opens up and the 3 dead lights descend into the box, and Mike tries to close it, but no, a balloon starts to emerge from it and it goes huge, and then it pops, and then Pennywise emerges out of it. And he is now, or it is now, in a giant spider-like form, and they're like, what the fuck, Mike, you told us this would work. And honestly,
damn it,
it's their
Mike,
fault for believing him, because the first thing they should have asked when they heard the chakra people told me how to defeat it is, and why the fuck didn't they defeat it, bitch, dumbasses. So the ritual doesn't work, and Pennywise starts to chase them around and manipulate the world and their minds and try to scare them a bit. Where Beverly almost draws in period blood, Ben almost gets buried alive, Bill shoves his hand up his own brother's ass, and Eddie and Richie are forced to choose between 3 equally scary doors, and Mike,
nice.
What the fuck Mike is doing, he's probably hiding somewhere. But they all somehow escape or defeat their fears once again, and Eddie throws a spear at Pennywise to protect Richie from the deadlights, and he does succeed in hurting Pennywise. So, in retaliation, Pennywise stabs Eddie and throws him around and kills him. Then they somehow find out that they can bully him into a smaller size, so they can defeat him, which they do, and he turns into a feeble little ball sack, and Mike reaches into his chest and rips his heart out, and they all collectively crush it together, which is crazy to me because they all defeated this huge form of Pennywise by literally going, you mean, you stupid, you a clown, you nothing but a stupid man. You a mean man. What is wrong with you? You stupid old lady. You bad. No one likes you. You bad. What the fuck, Pennywise? Just look at yourself. Look at them. Just bite them. Eat them. Like
bro, it's very obvious that Pennywise needed such a big ego to overcompensate for so much.
I'm pretty sure you can get them all in one bite. Come on, dude. Whatever. The place starts falling apart, so they get out of there. Then they go for a swim. Ben and Beverly kiss, and I guess they're finally gonna be a thing now. And by the way, she completely forgot who wrote that poem for her because of all the memory loss shit, but now obviously she remembers. Then they all go home and get a letter from Stanley post-death saying that the reason he killed himself was because he was too afraid to go back, and he knew that they had to be together to defeat Pennywise, so he did the only logical move and took himself off the board. This movie gets a 2 out of a long.
Nice! I just got that. A 2 out of a long, too long. Beautiful. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I definitely know I did. And make sure to do all the stuff I said in the beginning. Especially that channel I mentioned. I don't know why I'm doing this with the can, but I'm doing it. And have a beautiful day, night, morning, whenever it is. And see you in the next.